Hey, Chris.
Hey, Jim.
Oh, you can hear me. Okay.
Okay.
What's that?
Signing in went okay?
I guess so. You're
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Did it just let you in when I signed in?
it did. Yeah,
Okay. I thought maybe you had actually signed in, so I wasn't sure.
no, no. So I just noticed, just got done reading that Zach did send the materials list did you see that?
I did. Yep.
Yeah. So it didn't have any prices on it, but I'm assuming that if we go to a lumber yard and get pricing for it and an estimate if we do get a donation, then we could just subtract that out. Like,
Yes. I think that makes sense. I did also notice that he said that this might not be all inclusive, it might be more. So I think it'll be important to make the point that we can't really go over on things.
yeah, I could understand his point though. He might have to
Yeah,
run down and get a new
totally.
saw blade or some, I don't know how that works. If they,
Hmm.
so I can understand him, that it might be added added to it, but it might be prudent if we are allowed to. And I held off on contacting Nicholas until after this meeting, as far as, if we're allowed to ask for materials things. But it might be nice to kind of get a list of materials and an estimate and then just say not to exceed like whatever $1,000,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but pat it a little bit above beyond, the what he's listed.
Yep, that makes sense. All right.
Format looks a little different, huh? People over on the side.
Um, I think you can change that at the top. If you go up to the top bar, there's a view.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
it's fine. It's fine,
yeah,
but I've never changed it, so I just thought it would look like it has in
yeah,
the
I have mine set to multi-speaker, which allows me to just kind of see everybody. It doesn't switch back and forth when people talk. Good evening, Greg.
Hi, Greg.
Good evening. Just barely getting hooked up here. I think I'm all set.
Oh, we can hear and see you fine, so.
I don't like the lighting though.
I know I can never get their lighting right on mine. My glasses are always like glowing, and I don't know how to get
Along with
rid
the
of that.
screen. Yep.
It's set up in my basement. My office would be a lot better. Is there any chance we can get to the snow bee business up front tonight?
Um, we yeah, I don't know if there was anything, but we can ask for an adjustment of the meeting agenda. I do know that Jeanette has to leave early tonight at 6:10, and that there is like important discussions on the ERTA grant and a committee vote on that. Um,
I don't even have anything really. We haven't ridden yet because the weather hasn't cooperated.
We're
yeah,
so
so you might not.
close,
We've been close three times,
I'm
only
sure.
oh
I'm
so
sure.
close, and then it melts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's not, I just added, I thought that if ever there was anything that you wanted to discuss that, I would just add that under like the other groups, reporting.
All right.
Hi,
Hey,
Jeanette.
Jeanette.
Hello.
Hmm.
How's
I see.
everybody?
Good. I was able to log into Zoom, so Success.
Success. Always a
Count that
good
as a win.
day.
Thank you for hosting it, Jim. I appreciate it.
No problem. And I'm going to facilitate it also. And it sounded like Chris was going to take notes.
Correct.
All right. Emily was the only person not here.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't hear anything. Double check otherwise. But
Jim, before you call us officially just to order, is there a setting on your end that lets us see the Brady Bunch setup rather than just the speaker? Or because I don't see that, I don't have that on my end.
I think it should be on your end at the top. There's a button that's view. So I have mine set to gallery and I can see everybody. And
Okay. Yeah, for some
uh,
reason I'm not seeing those options, which I normally have. I mean, I'm in Zoom all the time,
yeah,
so
it's weird that you
okay.
can't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see anything that says as the host to
that you can
change
change
it.
it. Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to hold things up, so just go ahead. I'll figure it out.
All
My
right.
options didn't really show up unless I move the mouse up there, then they appear.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But mine are
Got
hidden
it.
too, unless I get my cursor up to the top bar.
Huh. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
No problem. All right, I will call the meeting to order at 5:31. Does anybody have adjustments to the agenda?
I would just request if there's anybody that has anything specific about Snowbees, if we could do that up front. I don't have anything to present to the group as we
Okay,
discussed.
how about we move it to the upfront of the updates and discussions section? And we'll kind of go through the initial like approval and subcommittee updates, and then we'll hit the Snowbees right at the beginning of that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And I also just wanted to add a reminder to volunteers to track their volunteer time moving forward so that when we have an annual report, we're not guesstimating how much time we've spent on things. So I guess it's just a reminder to keep track of volunteer time.
Good point. Thanks, Chris. Hi, Emily.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Emily.
All right, so we had one easy minor adjustment to the agenda to move the Snowbees conversation up under the updates and discussions. We'll move on to approval of minutes from November 20th, 2025. Does anybody have any changes to those minutes or anything to discuss? All right, if anyone wants to make a motion to approve.
So moved.
I move, oh, well, I think you have to introduce the motion. So motion to approve the minutes. Because Jim can't make the motion when he's facilitating.
Okay,
Oh.
second.
Thanks.
So I think Jeanette made a motion and Greg seconded it.
Yep.
Is that the case? I can't make a motion when I'm facilitating, or is it the chair that can't make a
I
motion?
think it's actually a good question. But to
Amanda
keep it
was nodding
cleaner,
her
because
head.
you're,
It's more best practice than anything else.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Amanda.
All right. So now that we cleared that up, sounds like minutes are approved, no changes. The next was the URSA grant subcommittee updates, a 2026 potential trail project. We'll have a discussion and then we'll have to make a motion to approve if folks are in support of that.
Do you want me to, I guess the subcommittee just met on Monday and just for a little background, and we decided to move this project, a particular project, forward to the committee for approval. And, there can be discussion of other projects that, we could do. But this particular project is first, we just took for a little bit of background. We do have, what is the amount? We do have some money left from the Semper bond, 2000 $800 is, oh, no, sorry. Ursa, sorry, the Ursa, we have almost $3,500 left with the Ursa grant. And, we decided to, rather than just return that to the state, we would ask for an extension and utilize that to do something else in the cow pasture. We had talked with Zach a while ago about a trail project that was required of the Ursa grant, and that was to fix the footing along the stream crossing along close to the Perrin property border, where by the spring. On both sides, it's very steep and treacherous, and not very good fitting, especially when it's muddy and in the winter. So Mark and I met with Zach a while back and discussed the possibilities, and then tooled around and came to the point where it's like really the what do you call it, the just the slope of the land is not great there, and that potentially a bridge upstream would, close to the parent property line, would be more ideal, rather than trying to dig up and reroute get the best tread possible crossing the stream. So Jim and Zach and I re-met on, what was it, December, it was
Early December.
December 1st, I want to say, and I'm pretty sure it's December 1st. And so we specifically, looked at that section, that particular project, and kind of came to the conclusion that, yeah, just because of erosion and just the lay of the land, that a bridge would probably be the most ideal fix for that area. And the existing trail would be discontinued, more specifically on the south side of it, and potentially we could keep a little path down to the stream on the north side of the stream. So, so Jim, do you want to add to anything to like what Zach had discussed? The specific project.
I don't think anything specific as far as what Zach discussed. I think it would also involve the approach to the bridge for about 100 feet of trail work in both directions. So it would ease that steep drop and steep climb out of that area.
Yeah.
That's about all I have to add as far as what Zach specifically said.
Yeah. So there are other projects that we could do in the cow pasture, and we'd actually asked them for an estimate for like the steep trail that's not very well designed, on the north side of the trail. It's, there's water bars there, but people keep going around them, and he didn't provide that. And then there was also a trail project that we discussed that was part of the Semper Bond, and it was going from the Crow Trail, crossing the cow pasture trail, and getting that treading a little bit better. So there's other projects that we could spend this money on. And we had more of a discussion when the estimate came in, because it was much higher than I think any of us had anticipated. Right, Jim? You felt that it was.
Initially, I did, and then I realized it was pretty comparable to the bridge that he had already built further down that was previously contracted through him.
Yeah.
And it was a comparable price considering it was quite a bit bigger and would have railings on both sides. So in the end, I didn't necessarily think it was an extreme change from what he had given us before.
Okay. So the funding of the bridge, so we only have approximately $3,500 left with Ursa, and we knew that it was going to exceed that, but we do have monies left in the Semper Bond fund, and I double checked on that, and the amount that we have in that, and that, for those who don't know, I think maybe everyone does, perhaps not Emily or Greg, but that was a one-time allotment to do good do work in the cow pasture, and we've been kind of nursing that and doing matching grants and buying miscellaneous things, whether it's posts, maps and those types of things. So we have $11,545 left in the Semper Bond Fund, which would pretty much deplete that fund. I think if we used it as a match, it would leave approximately $2,800 left in the Semper Bond Fund. And that's not a reoccurring, when it's gone, it's gone. So, the question is does the committee, feel comfortable with the bridge project if it only leaves $2,800 in the Semper Bond Fund? Another thing to consider is that, at one point, Zach mentioned that a lot of times lumberyards will donate materials, and he did use RK Miles to purchase the materials for the first bridge. So we asked him specifically for a list of materials that he would use, and he just got that to us today, a detailed list. So it's possible that the committee or the subcommittee could, if we get approval from the city, I think we would need that, approach one or more lumber yards and ask for a donation of the materials. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it would be, I don't know. I don't know how much the materials would cost. He didn't break it down for the other bridge, but I'm sure it would be like at least $3,000 or $4,000 of materials. I'm guessing.
And Jeanette has her hand raised. She wants to
Yeah,
add something.
just a question for Amanda. Do you know of any prohibition of committees asking for donations? Or is it good practice to just go through the city and ask if we can do that?
I believe the Parks and Recreation Committee has done it in other contexts. I don't think there's a general prohibition on doing it. I think for accounting purposes, it will have to be specifically tracked as an in-kind donation. So it might be useful to have the initial conversation with the lumberyard, get a clear sense of what the donation would be and from whom, and then flag the city for it before.
Yeah, and probably also to
accepting
make
it.
sure, and to make sure we're not competing, right? If Parks and Rec is asking and then
Yeah.
we're going to ask, then we might be in conflict with each other. So that makes
Yeah,
sense. Thank you.
I don't think there's any problem with asking and lining up the potential, gift from the place, just and maybe holding on accepting it until you flag it for the city to make sure it's fully accounted for.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
So
Emily
Amanda,
also. Oh, I was gonna say Emily has her hand also, but Chris, if that was related to what Amanda just said, go ahead.
Amanda, I'm just wondering if that's should we approach the city first rather than writing a letter and then just having the city say, no, you can't do this.
I'm happy to ask in the morning and clarify the point. I don't know for exact sure of any specific policy prohibiting or allowing. So I'm sort of going off what I think would be the best case scenario here. So I will first thing tomorrow morning check in on that and then follow up with the exact procedure. My hunch is that committees should be able to go ahead because others do. I know we get in-kind donations for the warming shelter all the time, that kind of thing. So
Emily, go ahead.
I really love the idea of fixing or adding a bridge to that area. I was just there the other day, and it's just, as Chris said, it's just so dangerous, that part of the trail. It's even I feel like just in terms of accessibility, it almost in the winter time, that part of the trail is like a lot of folks might have to turn around at that point. So I just think it would just be a gigantic improvement, especially in the winter time.
Yeah, that's a great point, Emily. When the subcommittee met a couple nights ago, we discussed that people have fallen there and cut their hand there and have had trouble crossing the river, especially in the winter, because it can just turn to a block of ice right in that spot. So I definitely agree with that. And could I just pause us for a second? I just want to welcome Shane to the meeting. I didn't notice you jump on there initially, but just wanted to say hello and just curious what brought you here.
Yeah, hi, my name's Shane. I live in Barre, and really, like, I saw this meeting online and was just like, well, I really like the cow pasture. I want to see what you guys are about, and yeah, if there's any way I can help out, or yeah, so mainly just sitting in on this one to check it out. But
Great.
yeah,
Well, welcome, and there's always ways to help out. So if you're into it, follow up afterwards, and we'd love to have your help.
awesome, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks. So I think where we were going with this was we needed to decide if the committee was in support of spending a decent amount of the Semper Bond fund down to build a bridge at the trail crossing by the spring. I think that there would still be a chunk of money left over, but I would mostly spend that fund down. If I'm, go ahead, Chris.
But hopefully, there'll be a larger chunk if we can
Yeah.
get a donation of the materials.
Yeah, and I guess this might be an opportunity to reach out, and if anybody on the committee has connections to like RK Miles or Sticks and stuff, or I had thought of Fontaine Sawmill also. I wouldn't, I know there's I don't necessarily have connections to any of those people. I don't know, maybe Greg has. You seem like someone who probably knows people in that world, but anybody that might have connections to lumber yards, it would be a good opportunity to see if we can reach out to them and see if they can provide anything.
So I have a question is, like Fontaine, is that really, do they provide the materials in the form that Zach would be using them?
I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, because I do know.
They usually have rough cut stuff, so probably
Yeah.
some of it they could.
Greg was talking, but he was muted, I think.
Oh, whoops. See, I can't see
I saw
anybody.
his lips moving, but I didn't hear anything. So
Okay, that, can you hear me now?
yes.
Jeanette's correct. They're a lumber mill. They generally have rough cut lumber and or special order material. If what you're looking for is probably going to be more RK miles or
Okay.
sticks and stuff. And the way to get in-kind donations from them is to just go ask. You just go up to the counter and ask. And they generally are generous to uh, local things like that.
So,
Okay.
Greg, would you recommend that over writing a letter?
Well, you can write a letter. Yeah, same
Yeah.
thing. That'll probably
Okay.
get higher quicker, maybe. Sometimes if you just
Right.
go in and ask, you end up talking to somebody, which is better.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's always this question of, okay, what's, what works best when you're going to ask for probably 3 grand worth of stuff, um, or maybe 2 grand worth of stuff. So,
Well, even if they gave some portion of it, an
Yeah.
extra
yeah.
discount, an extra 10% or 20, whatever, I don't know, anything.
Yeah,
That's
that's true. We'll take anything. And, we were also thinking that we could probably acknowledge on the bridge with a little plaque or something, depending on what they're willing to give to.
I mean, it used to be easier when they were owned locally by the Allen brothers, but they're not anymore. So
Right, right.
it's hit or miss. I mean, we, as the Snowmobile Club, we get donations from them
Yeah.
frequently, but you just have to go ask as a nonprofit, charitable
Hmm.
community club.
Yeah.
Okay.
Greg, do you have a name of a person that would be best? And it was Bernie or Alan that was the one that was the deciding vote on the cow pasture for the Semper Bond money. He was the person who kind of steered the steering committee to donate to the cow pasture. So I wish he was still there.
Me too. Um, but uh, I would, well, I know Sandra out in the office up down there. That's who I would go ask who to go see first. She's pretty down to earth and would steer you in the right direction. Or just send a letter. The letter, the guy owner lives in Vermont, Rutland area or something like that. He's a good guy.
Does anybody have any other opinions on whether or not to build the bridge? If I think it sounds like mostly people are in support of that, so we'd probably need a motion to allow the subcommittee to proceed with the process with Zach.
You looking for a motion to,
Yeah, I can't make one, so.
And I can't make one being the chair.
I'll make
Well,
one.
okay, good.
I move that we proceed with the recommended project from the subcommittee.
I'll second it.
Is that, just to be clear, is that the bridge?
Yeah, maybe the motion should be something more like more specific.
More specific, I move that we move forward with a project to improve the trail near the river crossing as recommended by the subcommittee.
That could involve spending down the Semper Bond funds also.
Even if it involves spending the Semper Bond funds.
We're getting it.
I second that.
I guess we have to vote on that.
Yeah, I think you have to open it up for any last discussion before we vote.
Yes. Any last discussion before we vote?
I would just
Yes.
like to add what I envision, because there was a comment that the stream is an attraction and kids and people like to get to the stream. But what we do envision is possibly keeping the trail as it is on the north side where the little steps are, and bringing just a spur trail so that people can get to the stream crossing on that side. On the south side where it's really steep on the spring side, that will be filled in and, as best we can so that people do not continue to use that and that trail doesn't continue to be eroded. And we'll have to confirm, but Zach is also had mentioned that he would improve the pathway down to the spring, which is a focal point, so it won't be as steep. He had a different approach to it that would be more gentle and less steep to get down to that particular attraction. So
just to clarify, it would be a destination and not continue as a crossing still. You would
Correct.
basically go down to the creek and then go back up the same way that you came.
And down to the spring and back up as you came.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
It's only a curiosity, but why does this bridge have handrails?
I think it has to do with the height above the stream.
Ah,
It's a little bit higher above the stream, so it reaches a point in trail design where it needs to have railings.
gotcha.
The other one must be really close, but it's not quite there.
Yeah, I think it was very close.
Yeah, it's pretty high also.
Yeah.
I will just add that I'm very glad to hear about the potential to still go down to the stream, because that's my dog's favorite part of the entire cow pasture. So
Yes.
he'll be able to continue to bite the water.
Yes, he will. All right, if there's no other discussion, we can vote on it. What am I supposed to say now?
All in favor?
Oh, that's right. All in favor?
Aye.
I
I'd say all not in favor, but I think that was unanimous that everyone said aye, so.
Great.
Do
So
I
that
not
motion
vote?
is moved.
Do I not vote
No, you
either?
can
I
vote.
say,
No, you
I
vote
say
for
aye
sure.
also.
Yeah.
Emily's celebrating. I like that. Okay. The next item on the agenda was upcoming training and events. I had shared something with Chris. This came through Friends of the Winooski River to some of my work that I do with the Barre Rivers Collective group in the city. There's going to be a Central Vermont Trail Manager meetup hosted by the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission and the Vermont Trails and Greenways Council. That's happening in Berlin. It's an opportunity to meet other trail managers, share upcoming projects, and identify regional needs for learning, technical support, and crosstown collaboration. That's Wednesday, January 28th. I did RSVP for it for myself. I think they said they ask each organization to select 1 or 2 members to represent your group at this meetup. So I am planning to attend. Of course, if anyone else is interested in connecting and learning, it sounded like we could also send 1 more person. I'm fine to go by myself, but if anyone's interested, you're welcome to jump on that also. And I will report back after I attend that and let folks know what I learned. It's a free event and comes with pizza and cider.
Jim, did you say what time it was on the 28th?
Pizza and cider at 5, and then the meeting is 5:30 to 7:30. It's at the UVM Extension Office on Route 302 in Berlin. And if anyone's interested, just shoot me an email and I can forward you the invite where you can RSVP.
Thanks for going, Jim.
No problem. It kind of covers multiple things that I do, and it's an interest I have, so it's great. And
Yeah.
I see that Emily put in the chat that she reached out to a friend who's a woodworker for recommendations on where to get lumber, so that's great. They mentioned Fontaine's. Yeah. Awesome.
Jim, do you think if you don't find anyone else in the committee that maybe reaching out to Martin, who has
Yeah, I could let them know.
kind of, I think that he would be, kind of great to keep a hook on him and
That's
an
true.
interest in the committee.
Keep him
And
involved if we
Pasture.
can. He is a good benefit to have involved with this. So I can reach out to him and forward that to him. I saw under this topic, upcoming training and events. I told mine, and it says Susan and Jim. I'm not sure if there was something that Susan was sharing or was tagged on here on the agenda.
There is something to share.
Okay.
Okay. That didn't work. Okay. I tried to put the poster in chat, but that didn't happen. The Barre Town, I don't know what organization it is actually. It's people in Barre Town that are involved with trail work there are having an event, German Forestry Insights and Lessons. So there's 2 talks, a broad overview of German forestry and then a specific talk about a certain city forest, Würzburg maybe. It is on the 28th of February at the Aldrich Library, and they'd like us to be what they call co-sponsors. It doesn't sound like we have to do much, except put a sign up at the kiosk, which I'd be happy to do. I help promote it probably on social media. Show up. And there's also opportunity to give out maps. They're very interested in having maps, which we now have. Yay. So I'll actually be upstairs at the library facilitating a different event. So I'm not available, but I can put up the sign and happy to share the info with the group. and whatever else I can do.
Could you say
What's
again
the
what the
date?
date
Oh,
was?
sorry.
It's February 28th.
February 28th.
10:30 to 1, right?
10:30 to 1. It's sponsored by Vermont Department of Forest Parks Recreation and the Barrytown Recreation Board.
And it is a town, sorry, I'm bad about not raising my hand. That's why I can't be a facilitator in meetings because I break the rules all the time and somebody needs to catch me on them. Um, um,
Okay.
it is FPR. I think it's a county forester who is the person that's giving the talk, and it would be great to get a connection with a county forester. We've had the property looked at in the past before we had the management plan completed, and they provided information. But it's it'll be 10 years in 2027. So it'd be good to engage with county forester. Is it county forester? Yeah, I think, or is it a state forester,
It's
Susan?
a FPR County Forester,
FPR
Robert
County.
Nelson. I just found the flyer. Someone had actually sent that to me also.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect.
I can pencil it in. I think I am free that morning, so and maybe
Great.
Chris, you and I could go, or we can tag team on it.
All right.
Would the city be able to print maps, like little 8.5 by 11 maps for us? Do we think?
Yes. If you just send
Okay.
it to me, I'll get it done.
Okay, great.
Just so you know, I'm not sure those maps will print at 8.5 by 11, just given the ratios that they are. I think they were legal
11 by
paper. So
17.
So
Oh,
that's
11 by
11 by
17.
17 or 11 by
Yep.
14 is fine too.
Yep. Okay.
Amanda, if I've been reaching out to Roxanne for those, and she's just always printed things, so it would be one less thing that you would have to do. I don't mind reaching out to
Yeah,
Roxanne.
it can go straight to Roxanne too. That's fine.
Yeah, and it'd be one. You're so busy. I'd be happy to do that. One
Thank you.
less thing on your plate.
great. Thanks for sharing that, Susan. That's a good event.
So I think also it sounds like I can answer to them that we'll attend, that we'll have maps. We can put up the sign and post on social media. Sounds like
Do they have something that's specific that they want us to post for social media?
I can send you this information that I'm having trouble getting into chat.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Susan, is that a flyer? Like
It's
an
a
event
flyer,
flyer?
but it seems like
Because
oh
I have a flyer that's German Forestry Insights and Lessons. If that's what you
yeah,
have. Okay. Yeah, if you can email it to Emily, that would be great. It'd be a good thing
yeah,
to post leading up to the event.
yeah.
Awesome. Did you have anything more on that, Susan? Are we good to move on?
I think that's it.
Okay. Greg just turned off his camera, but if he had anything as far as updates and discussions on the snow bees. Okay, he's
Oh,
back.
it's back.
You're muted. Yep,
Sorry,
you're good.
I had to take a call.
All good.
We don't have any updates really because we haven't had cooperation with the weather, and we did go down and sign it, and they trimmed a few branches and stuff, some brushwork, and we're ready to go as soon as we get enough snow. We won't go down through there until we get enough snow has not damaged the ground.
Great. Good to know. Chris has her hand up.
I should point out to the committee that I got a call from Nicholas Storella Castro, and I think it was probably the day of the city council meeting where the approval of the agreement, the annual agreement between the Snow Bees and the city was going to meet, be on the council's agenda. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but I assume that that was the case. But he called to ask whether or not it was, I think, suggested by you, Greg. Correct me if I'm wrong. And maybe he just came up with it, but to rather than doing it on an annual basis, that it be, unless that we call it back for some reason
Until revoked.
until revoked.
Yeah,
So,
I made this suggestion to him because it's repetitive every year. I got to fill out the same form, and he's got to go before the board or whatever, a city council meeting. And I said, why don't we just say until revoked, until there's a problem, and then we discuss it and or go forward or stop. And he seemed in agreement, and it passed and it was approved by the city council. So I just don't have to do that every year now, and I just, we'll represent in these meetings and stay in touch until there's a problem. We're good. And I will make also note on that, that did bring to mind that they did give a donation for the brush hogging, so that they fulfilled their commitment on that end. So that's completed.
and Greg, how much was that?
I think it was 500.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm glad that Nicholas reached out to me because it wasn't discussed and I felt kind of put on the spot. And I apologize. I think it was needed to be done, but I spoke for the committee, which I'm not comfortable doing. But I understand, that, it is a process each year. But it was kind of an 11th hour request on my, to me, and I'm glad he reached out to me. But I just wanted to let you know that I I typically would not have spoke for the committee on something like this without getting committee approval, but I felt like that it was a time-saving event for the city in particular that has so much going on. I don't know if anyone has any comments or anything to say about that. Just wanted to bring it up.
But every year it ends up being an 11th hour thing, and he knows that, and I know that. It's the same thing every year and always has been. It's just a pain in the neck for a routine thing that there's no reason to have to do every single year.
Does this kind of I know that in the past there's kind of like a main line trail that comes through the cow pasture. I know in the past there's been discussions about people using neighborhood trails to approach from different directions. Would this until revoked allow like additional trails to be added just if they
Oh,
needed to be, or we'd have a discussion if anything was going to change, I assume, right?
right. This is for the vast trail that goes through. Any feeder trail is subject to approval of the committee for
Right.
neighbors to be able to access the vast trail.
Yep.
We've been through that process, I don't know, a couple times at least
Yeah.
years back, and people are pretty good. If they go about the process and you give them the parameters, they stay on the trail. I mean,
Perfect.
that's the concept of vast throughout anyway.
That's great. I just want to make sure that people would still be requesting and getting the parameters put in front of them and all of that. So that's good. Thank you. Chris.
It did the grant agreement, and I checked with Nicholas when he called me. It did include there was a section on the agreement, any special concerns or considerations, and there was a whole list that the committee came up with regarding, various, staying on the trails and that type of thing, and speed limits. And so that was attached to the agreement that was presented to the city council. It was outdated a bit in that it didn't have the new trail names on it. It had the old M1-1 type of thing in that older document that 2 or 3 years old now. So it did include that.
It was the most recent one that was approved by this committee 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Just that since then you've changed your names. That's the only
Yeah.
difference. But
Yeah.
that was always attached every year, and it was attached this year, and it stands until if this committee wants to rewrite that policy and go through the procedure of approval and all that stuff, fine, no problem. But I don't think
Well,
it's big.
yeah, I think that could just be a housekeeping thing, because the gist of the agreement doesn't really change. So maybe there can just be either an addendum next year that says, trail names have been changed, or it just gets updated in as a housekeeping item, not a, the agreement doesn't change fundamentally. So that should be easy enough to do.
Sounds good to me.
Looks like discussion of Snobies is over. Next thing for updates is Conservation and Access Advisory Group. Is there anything to update on that?
No, with missing Mark,
Yep.
on that. So
Okay. Next is invasive plant control. Any updates there?
Emily and I have a solid plan for creating a flyer about 3 plans. So, buckthorn, barbarian, winged, you want to miss. It should be done. I think we're trying to get it done by April and possibly do like a walk and talk to show how to identify these three plants. I don't envision that it would be a big removal kind of day, but just identifying how to get rid of it and maybe offer the possibility of people, adopting a little area or pledging or something. So that's the plan.
Sounds good. Yeah, you have a
awesome.
few months until they start popping up again. So
Yeah, it won't be long.
no.
Awesome. Thank you guys for working on that.
The last thing on the list in this section was social media. Was there anything specific to talk about there?
I've been on a little hiatus from doing anything with social media just because work got so busy in Q4 there. But I do have a list of some things we had wanted to post towards the end of last year. I think we wanted to post that we were on Trail Finder, which I have not done yet. So as long as everybody thinks it still makes sense to post that, I can get that posted soon. I wanted to do some photo posts. We had some nice photos from the fall, and I took some photos the other day that I can post. So expect to see some posts coming soon. And then, of course, for that upcoming event on the 28th, we can post about that. Yeah, and I guess just if anybody else, is walking through the cow pasture and takes a nice photo and thinks it's worthy of landing on the Facebook page, feel free to send it my way.
Great. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
That is the end of the agenda.
Oh, there's
Oh,
city support.
there's what?
Is it not on?
Oh,
Yeah.
city support. Sorry,
City
that's
support.
underlined and bolded. I thought it was like a header for the next topic, which is adjourn. City support.
Um, should I take the lead on it? I added that.
Sure.
I was hoping to initiate a letter to the city, just requesting certain support. They've been great with giving assistance to the grants, but there's a few things that are still outstanding with the Ursa grant. A lockbox on the gate so that if there's an emergency, that they can actually use the service road and get into the pasture. So, maintaining that road and keeping it open. So there's a laundry list, and also the brush hogging, which has been a struggle. I think that Greg, I think you could speak to this. If they have a contract for brush hogging, but we just weren't on it. I tried. I reached out to apparently the wrong people and never got a response. But just being on the contract every year for brush hogging, that the city take care of that, and rather than us scrambling to find someone. Um, Another thing, so it's a discussion to be continued, and if the committee agrees, I'll draft a letter for the next meeting. The other thing is mowing the path through the meadow. Ken Lund used to do that, volunteer, but he's gotten to the point where he can't continue to do that. And I think it's a good idea just because of ticks. And perhaps the cemetery committee could come up the service road now and do that mowing of the path. So I've got, 4 or 5 things that I think that they should be taking ownership to on the cow pasture that we don't have the capacity to do, especially if the Semper Bond money is being spent down. So I just wanted to give you a heads up and get your input on whether or not it's a good idea to draft that letter to the city asking for some very specific assistance moving forward, rather than having to ask them for it every year or.
Yeah, go ahead, Amanda. I see your hands up.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And if I may make a suggestion for the structure, it sounds like there's 2 different buckets of asks. It sounds like there's a couple of one-time asks. The lockbox that you mentioned is sort of a do it and call it done thing. And then there are some sort of annual tasks that have to be done around a certain time of year and so on. And I might suggest breaking them into those 2 chunks. And I think it might be useful for everyone if there's just an annual cow pasture maintenance checklist that has to happen at certain times of the year that is sort of clearly understood and signed off on by both the cow pasture committee and the city. And that can just sort of be a document created by and managed by the committee. And then like it becomes obvious when something is coming up. And that way the city can sort of integrate it into their future looking schedules instead of having like one-time communication on individual things. Um, and it would have to, I'm not committing the city to like every single thing on the list. I think it can be the start of a conversation. I don't know what the full list is, but I'm sure it can be the conversation. But I just think that format might be helpful, both internally and with the city.
I think that's a great suggestion. Thanks, Amanda, for that.
Um, I can't seem to find my hand up thing, but anyway, when I was talking with Nicholas about, yeah, brush hogging, he said, well, maybe I should just add them to the contract. So they have an annual city contract for brush hogging different things around the city. I would imagine that's created in the winter. So I think this committee should draft that letter, as Amanda was just saying, and ask and get on that list. But it's an annual thing, so you got to do it every year, which should be anyway.
Yeah, and I think the idea that Amanda had to have sort of an annual punch list would be helpful because there are certain areas that would only be brush hogged every 3 years or so. So even if it's on the list, it could say brush hogging needed and have the year that it's needed and kind of just carry over, right? Is that correct, Chris? It's not needed every year in the
Yeah,
meadow?
the management plan, and the brush hogging is to keep that space for habitat for certain
Mhm.
birds. And the recommendation was to have it brush hogged every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So I think if we had a list of what we needed and when, and we just kind of updated that every January or something, I think Greg makes a good point that getting it on there earlier is great versus calling them up in, the middle of the summer and trying to get them out there in the fall to do it. If they have it on their schedule early on, we have something to reference and put back in front of them if we need them to do it.
And I did reach out to a few people in the winter. I tried to do that, but I didn't get phone calls returned, and I just kind of
Yeah.
let it slip through the cracks.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
If I can help at all with drafting a checklist or anything like that, I'm happy to. Just let me know.
Oh, thanks. I think what I'll do is draft something, a letter, and then, ask for people's input on it. Especially, I'm going to hit you up for the annual report, Emily. I know that you can make a wonderful report on one page. So I'm going to put you on the back burner for doing something special for our annual report.
Sounds good.
That's great. Does anybody have anything else to discuss? Otherwise, we can adjourn a little bit early.
So did anyone note when Jeanette, I should note, when she left the meeting?
Oh, it's probably in the chat. It was 6:14.
6:14. Okay.
Yep.
Well, should we, is Shane still on? Is he still with us?
Yeah, Shane's here.
I'm here. Yep.
Hey, Shane. So I just wanted to circle around to you to see if you, it's unusual that we get done, so promptly, which we've been pretty good about it, but never stopping early. I think it's, so I just wondered if you had any questions of the committee or any input.
Oh, you're muted, Shane.
I thought I clicked it. I didn't. But yeah, like I would be totally happy to, I don't know, do some, I don't know, grunt work at some point, be it, removing invasive plants or, if you guys need help working on trails and stuff like that, I'd be happy to help out. So just wanted to throw that out there. 'Cause yeah, I really enjoyed the cow pasture. So have been going there for years and years. So yeah, like to give back. So yeah, if there's any entry level type maintenance stuff I could help out with, I'd definitely like to hear it from y'all.
Yeah, we usually have at least one, if not a couple of trail days every year, and we can throw a tool into your hands and go out and clean out water bars and clean up the trail a little bit and cut back brush that's overhanging the trail. I am curious if we have a way to contact you or if you get emails from us at all.
I'm not sure. I can go ahead and give you guys my email. Whatever the best way to get added to your contact list, I can go ahead and give that info.
Yeah,
Um, um,
I could even throw it in the chat.
that'd probably be perfect. Go ahead and do that, and I'll
Right.
make sure I copy it over because I don't know if these chats just disappear after the meeting.
and alternatively, you could email the cow pasture committee account. Like there's a link on our page on the city website under, and that Jeanette is the one that has been checking that Gmail account, our committee Gmail account, but that would be a good way to pass the information on as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't know if you visited the our website on the our page on the city, but there is a cow pasture committee Gmail account. She's not always right on top of it, but that would be a way to share that information as well.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll go ahead and reach out that way as well. Just so yeah, we're covered.
Mhm. Great, thank
Great.
you. Thank you for your interest.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Anytime. All right. I think we're good. I can go eat some dinner. Do we need a motion to adjourn? Is that the case? But it doesn't have to be seconded. I've learned that, right?
Yep. And the time is,
Well, I didn't make a motion. Someone else has to.
and I can't make a motion because I'm the chair.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
6:23, Chris. All right, y'all. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you,
Have a good
Jim.
night. Of
Appreciate it.
course.
All right, thanks
Thank you.
everyone for all you do.
Good night.
Night.